Welcome to another episode of the Top 10 Video Countdown, where we'll be counting down the top 10 trending videos. Also talk about the news in the pop culture world. And let's look at this week, and most of the songs pretty much held position, which means we had a pretty short week and slow week this week in the countdown. But with that in mind, let's get into our top 10. Kicking things off is Return. It's a song that's down 2 spots from last week. Here's aespa for Dirty Work. And that was our number 10 video with aespa, Dirty Work. Let's continue with the countdown at number 9. Here's a song that's held position from last week. Here's Man Child by Sabrina Carpenter.
You said your phone was broken, just forgot to charge it.
And keeping things going at number 8. Here's a song that rose 2 spots from last week, basically swapping positions with Dirty Work. Here's Back to Friends by Sombr. And now is our number 8 video with Back to Friends by Sombr. Now let's take the time to talk about some pop culture news. And one of the biggest stories this week involves Nicki Minaj, as she decides to pick a fight with SZA. These two had a back and forth on X, with Nicki calling SZA as ugly. And SZA was deemed, from the look of it, unbothered, and she tweeted, paraphrasing, "Well, I'm moving on. See you in Paris." Well, if you're looking for artists to go on tour, don't expect one from Miley Cyrus. She announced that she will not be touring to promote her Something Beautiful album, and one of the biggest reasons she cites is label support. Also, she mentions that she has a rare vocal condition that puts a strain in her voice. Then we have Lady Gaga kicking off her Mayhem Ball. Her first stop was in Vegas. This tour would take place in arenas, not stadiums, and that was a choice. But anyway, let's move on to the countdown at number 7. Another song that held position from last week. Here's Shake It to the Max by Molly, Silent Addy, Skilla Bean, and Shinsia.
Don't got to fear, number 1 in command. I came just to kill me, ain't too militant.
And let's to keep the train going at number 6. A song that's down 1 spot. Here's Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish.
Birds of a feather, we should stick together.
Now that we're halfway through the countdown, let's pause the countdown and shine a light on an older video, the throwback video of the week. And let's honor one of the greatest songs of the summer of all time, in Despacito. In 2017, the song went to number 1 and stayed there for 16 weeks, and at the time, tied the record for most weeks at number 1 all time. It quickly became a billion viewed video on YouTube, and is currently the highest viewed video on YouTube as of the making of this video. So here's our throwback video of the week. Here's Despacito by Luis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee, and I'm not acknowledging the Bieber remix.
Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito.
And now is our throwback video with Despacito by Luis Fonsi and Daddy Yankee. But now let's continue with the countdown at number 5. Here's down 2 spots from last week, Sapphire by Ed Sheeran.
You color and fracture.
Now is our number 5 video, Sapphire by Ed Sheeran. Let's continue with the number 4 video, rising 2 spots from last week. Here's La Plena W Sound 5 by W Sound, Bile, and Ovi on the drums. And let's pause the countdown and shine a light on a rising star artist. And this week, I want to talk about Adela. Adela is a singer from Slovakia. Some of you may recognize her for her works in the Dream Academy, built by Hybe and Geffen. She was one of the top vocalists in the camp, but once the competition began, she was eliminated early, and many thought that she would be better as a solo artist. And what happened next? Hybe, Geffen's No became Capitol's Yes. She's currently signed with Capitol Records and started releasing her own solo music. And here's one of her videos. Here's Death by Devotion by Adela. And that was our Rising Star video of the week, Death by Devotion by Adela. And let's continue with the countdown at number 3. Here's rising 1 spot from last week, Ordinary, the number 1 song in the country.
They say the holy water's watered down, and this town's lost.
And that's our number 3 video, Ordinary by Alex Warren. Now let's jump to the number 2 video, a video that held on yet again to the 2nd spot. Here's Die With A Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars.
And die with
And that's our number 2 video, Die With A Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. And before we get into our top pick, let's recap numbers 10 through 2.
Sharp teeth, bite first, real bad business,
Tú sí tienes una vainita que a mí me encanta. You got me kissing the ground.
And with that out the way, here's our number 1 video this week. And once again, holding on for the 7th week in a row, here's Rose and Bruno Mars for Opposite. And that's our number 1 video this week, Rose and Bruno Mars with Oppa 2. If you want to keep this video at number 1, go vote on the ballot. Link is in the description and the top pinned comment. But that concludes another episode of the Top 10 Video Countdown. Thanks for watching and have a good week.